Hey everybody, guys and girls, I'm super happy to see you today. I just have a fabulous, awesome session, and I would like to share with you a few takeaways. And the topic of today is rejection, a fear of rejection, and what can we do about it? Um, I know there are a lot of resources, and I really think that um, we all, at some point of life, all of us, have been rejected by somebody for this or other reason. And I think the positive part of getting mature, of growing up, if I can say, is to be wiser. The interesting thing is, we never really know why we were rejected. And the good news is that it doesn't really matter. I would even say that, in a way, clear rejection, when somebody tells you no, is a pretty good thing, because it's almost like an arrow wrong way. So you can find other options and be grateful that somebody had not just been wasting your time. Another thing about rejection is that sometimes we really don't know what's going on in someone else's life. Sometimes, we fall in love with somebody, or I would say maybe like somebody, and we want to have a relationship with them, and we felt that, oh, that person is interested in us and we have connection, but then we end up getting rejected, or something like that happens where they would like to end the relationship. Very often we don't know what stage of life they're in. It's possible that currently their thing is business or career, and it happens very often with men, especially, and I would say especially in our country. But probably it can take place actually anywhere, when people, for example, do not have same goals for future. The lady is family oriented, and the guy is the man is really in the prime time of his career, and he's a career guy. For him, respect from others is more important than having love at this point in his life. He just not into it. He probably didn't talk to you clearly about it when you met, but you might think that something wrong with you, you aren't good enough, you aren't this or that, when in the reality, the reason for rejection, for him not willing to take a relationship to the next level, is because he's a career driven guy, and he feels that he will miss out on where he wants to be in life, with his ambitions. And a lot of ladies, trying to prove and show them the value of having a relationship. But I have a good news for you. If somebody does not see your value, if somebody does not see that impact that you can give, you probably do not want to be with them either, because relationship is an exchange. You will spend a lot of time proving yourself where you can go further and see what's on your way. Very often, the most painful rejection we ever have in our life is the one that after a while we could not be more grateful that rejection had happened, that it took place. Because after that, we maybe had shock, we kind of felt like, oh my god, we start to work harder, we start to improve in ourselves because we took it personally. But very often our destiny, if I can say so, that we meet that right person after a while, after that rejection, and we realized, oh my god, this person is so much better. First of all, I took some time to work on myself, to improve myself, to just give myself some power, and here we are. The person that is actually happy to be around me and is opening up with me and on the same page with me is so awesome. And I'm so grateful now to another one that they rejected me. I almost want to write a thank you note. And it happens all the time. So very often, it's a very good thing to be rejected. Now coming back to guys, and I'm gonna have a little bit takeaway from today's session. So sometimes just that fear, that idea of rejection is so paralyzing us that we even afraid to take a chance, which is really sad because it's all about taking chances. You never know. So my personal thing is to imagine what the worst possible thing can happen if this person or job or whatever, whatever you are, will say no. What's the worst possible thing? And usually there is nothing really so bad except that you will have to move on. Nothing will happen. It's not gonna be any worse. You're not gonna fall below the floor. So, and I don't think it's even that bad. I think we are capable of creating these crazy scenarios in our head. Yes, we all do. So, the worst thing possible, you will be at the same level as you are right now. They won't accept you to the job, or that person won't respond to mutual interest. So today's was very interesting because I was talking with somebody who we talked a couple months ago. I think it was in July, so it's been a while ago, and there was that issue. There was an interest, and this wonderful man, like truly wonderful, thoughtful man, really met a brilliant lady, but kind of at the wrong time in his life. He actually was going for career, and he was very busy. He's very motivated, great person that's kind of always on the go, very strong and very ambitious. And so happened that he actually did meet the woman he always dreamed about. But, well, since I'm allowed to share, I'm gonna say that he was just scared. He felt as if he would go with that route in life with her, that he felt like it's gonna distract him from the business. He won't be able to work for a while. Basically, he became a workaholic. But also, I think he just was fear of losing control, because his feelings to this lady start develop pretty fast, and he was just basically scared and fearful that his life will be shaken. And to make a long story short, the communication was interrupted for quite some months, quite some time, but he kept thinking about her. So it was just, I feel that I have wings on my back right now, because we talked a few times and the same topic, and we talked about, well, if he would go back in touch and ask how she's doing, what are the worst possible things can happen. He can just say, sorry, I moved on. But that also will be a clear sign that he has to move on and never make this mistake again. Because he realized that he realized that he missed out. So, which is okay, we aren't here to be perfect. We're making our mistakes, and we all have our vulnerable parts. So we talked about it, and my goal is not to push anybody, but encourage and inspire if I can. So I was just thrilled this morning to find to hear a little message and then talk in person. So basically, yes, when the person realizes that there is nothing to lose, you can go and ask. And this story is having a wonderful continuation, because that was mutual. She told him that every day, or very often, she wanted to call him, and she wanted to tell him that she still think about him. And in our culture, again, attention, women are less showing initiative. We kind of expecting more initiative from the guy, and classically less initiative, especially on the big decisions, from the lady. That's kind of a separate topic, but maybe if she would give him some sign that this situation would happen earlier and he would get back to her earlier. And it's really possible that that's what would happen, but I just think it's really beautiful because overcoming that silly fear of being rejected, of being not accepted by somebody, I think is really smart and wise. And it was just wonderful to hear that he's making some plans, they are both making some plans to meet and go from there. We don't know what's gonna happen, but he was so happy, and he said that the hardest thing was also to call and say, I was wrong, I realized that you are everything I dreamed about. As far as I just feel it. And I know sometimes for guys it's harder to talk about their emotions because somehow they feel that is weak, but it was just awesome. So I also think when you do not have a particular person or couple, when you go out, when you do things, how can we have so many people on this planet, and how is that if 10 people tell you no, how does that tells you that you should stop? I call that giving up too fast. I think that being open and being aware of things should help a lot, because I don't care how good looking you are, how popular you are. If you would go to a popular person page, you will see the most negative things in there. I think it's just a part of life, positive and negative. And in a way, as I said before, people kind of making you a favor when they telling you no, because you don't have to waste any time with them. You can move on. And very few of us getting rejected all the time. It's only happens once in a while, and if it happens all the time, maybe something wrong with your strategy, maybe you need to put some work on yourself, because the person you're reaching out to is too high. That's also can be a reason sometimes when, we are about this, like here, and we want person that's up here. And not to be judgmental, but the person who is working on themselves, who is motivated and driven and ambitious and just bright person, probably would not be interested in somebody who is laying in bed all day and depressed. And I'm saying the extreme example, but it makes sense. So sometimes if you do have same things happen all the time, the problem is might be in you. So that's a whole different story. You might realize that the person you would like to be with is on a whole different level, and there is a plan how to get there. There is no reason to try to chase that person. Instead, you have to raise yourself up and go from there. And lastly, I would like to say that there are two different strategies when we get rejected, at least for our Russian-Ukrainian mentality. So if you're a girl, a woman, a lady, you got rejected, somebody tells you, look, you're great, but blah, blah, blah. What we can't really openly, in any shape or form, we can't really go after the guy, because the only thing that's gonna happen, that he gonna get extremely against us, and he gonna lose his interest to the point of that he won't be able to stand you. In our culture, at least, we cannot pursue the guy by any meaning. So if we get rejected, the best thing we could do is give ourselves a hug and cheer up and start to focus on ourselves, start to work on our issues. if you don't have any like issues, but you have areas that you want to improve, that's a most wonderful time, because you can use a charge, that energy of frustration, if that really hurt, you can use it for your development. You can start working out, you can move in your career, you can learn another language, you can start dress better. In our culture it's a big thing. You can give yourself some time, give yourself some love. First of all, basically, if the lady gets rejected, the only person she can fight for is herself. She needs to work and improve herself. She might think it's for him, but it's actually for her. First of all, her focus moves from the person to herself. Second of all, she can really discover her incredible potential that she was hiding and waiting for evaluation from the guy. So the answer is, in our case, we just go back and put our head down and do all the work we can. Give ourselves some fun times, go travel. Basically, kind of the combination of great things that we can do for ourselves to bring ourselves up, to just become better and to have more fun. I don't want to be this person that's always only talking about work. Kind of combination, add some more stuff to our life. So yes, improve ourselves. With the guys, a little bit different. So in our culture, it's okay for the guy try a few times. And I believe in US as well. You don't want to be this needy, chasey person, but sometimes when you feel that the connection is possible, the lady isn't convinced, or she doesn't know you yet, she doesn't trust you yet, you can stop pursuing her in a way that, oh, let's have a relationship. But you can do certain things for her. You can research her and see what she likes, you can do some actions, you can, without expecting that she will change her mind. But if you're really so much into her, you can try to win her heart, and you can try a few more times for sure to do something meaningful and kind of fight for her, like back in time with chivalry and stuff. You can do those things. It's totally fine. It's okay for a man to have a strategy and go. I personally know situations where it looks like the guy had no chance in the world, but he never stopped. He was persistent, and he was interested in very popular, very bright woman. And he did win her in the end. And she did surrender. In a good way. I've seen that a lot, because he knew it was his woman and he went for it. So no matter how, I think it took, I don't know, about a year. I have a lot of stories about that. It's not always gonna work. Sometimes there is just no chemistry. Sometimes you aren't the right type. But that kind of persistence is not a bad thing. And it kind of gives you some experience too. You will learn also what works and what doesn't. So I just see it as a two different strategy, because when women pursuing a man, even if she win, you don't want to have that kind of guy that needs to be pursued. That's a little not in our mentality. Maybe for feminists is something that they dream about, but I don't actually think so. So the principle is, for the women, we got to raise ourselves and kind of like get the guy out of the picture and just become that beautiful flower inside and out, and takes it fuel for inspiration, going up and growing and blossoming. Because for us, growing, it also means not only intellectually but also physically. We need to blossom because we are women. And actually, I know a lot of women that did that and went way up in their career, and also did meet the guy who they did not have to drag. They didn't have to jump fences. And he was the example of how to... actually, he was the guy that was meant to be. So that's what happens when you work on yourself. And for the guys, you do have a privilege, because in a way, if again, if there is that particular person, of course you can also raise your level and become better, find common interest, find a way to help, to encourage that lady, just show, have a kind of an opportunity to show who you are and have another chance. You know, you have more space for initiative. That's what I would say. So guys, now I want to hear from you. Do you have rejection stories? What do you think about rejection? Do you really think it's a big deal, or do you understand, do you look at it like me, that it's just a part of life and it's gonna happen regardless who you are, and it happened to all of us? Or do you feel defeated and you just maybe for that reason you're staying away? Feel free to share. I love your insights. I love getting that feedback where I can really feel connected with you guys. That's been awesome. And I'm just super excited today, because I am just so happy when people actually taking those chances. It just, you know, there is nothing, somebody said that there is nothing like pain of regret. Usually we, in the end of our life, we don't regret things we've done, but we regret those that we hadn't. And I want to say thank you to the wonderful man I talked today to, for letting me share his story. I'm so glad you went for what you want, and it was still available. But the interesting thing is, he was ready that it would not be available. And I think it's very important to not be desperate, because desperation scares people so much. So we kind of got ready for any answer, but luck was on his side. And I wish you all guys go for those things that you really, really wish in your heart. And I will see you next time.